So as we gather tonight, if you have some paper or cloth that you can tear and a pen or a marker that you can use for writing on the paper or the cloth throughout the service, please go ahead and grab those things now. There is a song here at the beginning of the service, and so you can grab those during the song if you'd like. I cannot tear my paper, or my cloth, so I'm going to use paper. So whatever works best for you. But welcome to this longest night service. We are glad that you're here.
The earth cries out, nothing feels right. The world cries out, no justice in sight. Fires burning everywhere, too many, too hot, too bright. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for that Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. The child cries out, don't turn out the light. Broken hearts cry out, no end of hurt in sight. Greed and guns rule everywhere. Too many, too strong to fight. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for that Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Let us be a sign of hope. Let us be your arms of love. Let us be the ones that say there is another way. Let us be a sign of hope. Let us be your arms of love. Let us be the ones that say there is another way. Let us be a sign of hope. Let us be your arms of love. Let us be the ones that say
You are waiting for us to. We are waiting for you. You are waiting for us to.
Good evening and welcome to worship as Christ Presbyterian Church. As we gather, I would remind you that you will get the most out of the service if you have some cloth or paper to tear and a pen or a marker. If you don't have those things already, you can grab them during the next song. I know I already told the people gathered on Zoom that for this song that we just heard, so those of you on Facebook, you can do that as well. Tonight is a night for us to be together in the dark. But let's admit it, so often darkness scares us. Darkness is our nightmare. We've been taught to fear it, to avoid it, to keep the lights on, to think happy thoughts, to pretend everything's all right, and to not go into that dark place.
Yet we are here tonight in the dark because God created light and dark, day and night, and said both were good. To fear darkness is to miss what we can see there that we can't see clearly anywhere else. So here we are in the dark. Will you say with me, here we are.
We are in the dark.
We are in the dark.
We are here to acknowledge we are in the dark about so many things. We have so many unanswered questions. We have so much fear and sorrow we can't make sense of, tucked away in secret places. And for some of us, we have fresh grief that's raw and feels unending. Here we are. We are in the dark.
We can hear in this night an invitation to not run so quickly to the bright, shiny objects, to easy answers and loud, well-lit rooms. This sacred darkening makes room for all of us who we are, for our laments and longings, our confessions and our cries. This darkness can help us see what we cannot see in the light. This dark and holy night can perhaps even be a night where dreams are dreamed, hopes can be born. Here we are. We are in the dark.
And God is with us. We are not alone. And so I'm going to grab my candle and light this to remind us that we are not alone. And that no matter where or how we gather, God is here with us, and this is sacred, holy space.
You shouldn't be here tonight. It doesn't seem quite right. Here where the cattle sleep, here where they keep their sheep, here in the mud and blood and hay. How could you end up in this place? Emmanuel, Emmanuel, born into the longest night, Emmanuel. You shouldn't be here tonight. It doesn't seem quite right. Here where the hurt is deep, here where the wounded weep, where there's so much we cannot say. How can you show up in this place? Emmanuel, Emmanuel, God with us, love for us. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, born into the longest night, Emmanuel. In this garden starry night, in our aching, crying night, in this trembling, tender moment, before we start to see the light dawn. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, God with us, love for us. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, born into the longest night, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, God with us, love for us. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, born into the longest night,
Tonight, we will be participating in the long-standing biblical tradition of lament, the practice of mourning for all that's wrong and crying out to God and with God to make things right. Yes, with God. One of the things we learn from Scripture is that God also laments. The prophet Ezekiel tells us that God has a scroll filled with God's own handwritten words of grief and sorrow. So we do not lament alone.
One of the ways people expressed their laments in the Bible was by rending, by tearing their clothes. David does it when he hears of his daughter Tamar's rape and when Saul and Jonathan were killed in battle. Job did it when he lost pretty much everything he owned and everyone he loved. Clothing was an extremely valuable and limited resource in those days, and not something that was easily replaced. So when they ripped their clothes to shreds, it spoke volumes. It was a way of physically expressing the pain they felt inside, a way of saying, I am torn up. My heart is ripped to shreds.
There will be many times we will rend our pieces of cloth or paper during the service. When we do this, we would encourage you to hold your cloth or your piece of paper up to the screen so that everyone can see. If you'd like, you can unmute yourself, but it might just be better if we all hold our cloth up, and at least I will be unmuted while I tear that, but we can all watch each other tearing our cloth together. This sound is the sound of our sorrow as we wait. and wait for God and for what's broken to be made whole. And yes, sometimes the wait seems so long, too long. And we feel like the water of Psalm 22, the writer of Psalm 22, who cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?"
Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? Why have you forsaken us? How can we go on? There's a woman who's lost her child, and a man who's lost his way. There's a boy who's keeping it inside, and a girl who cannot pray. Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? Why have you forsaken us? How can we go on? We search for your face, search for your grace. We want to follow your way. Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? There's a man who says he cannot breathe, and another with a gun. There's a family who's left everything, just exiles on the run. Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? Why have you forsaken us? How can we go on? We search for your face, search for your grace. We want to follow your way. Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? There's a man forsaken on a cross, body broken in two. There's a God hanging on a cross who feels it all too, crying with us, dying with us, praying with us, holding us too, crying with us, dying with us, praying with us, holding us too. Crying with us, dying with us, praying with us, holding us too. We search for your face, search for your grace. We want to follow your way. Follow your way.
Throughout worship, we want to offer you the space for lament and prayer. Scriptures and music will guide us through this time. Along the way, we'll offer you several opportunities to write down your laments on strips of cloth or paper. If you don't have a strip of cloth or paper, you can type your laments in the chat or comment section. So the chat if you're on Zoom, the comment section if you're on Facebook. One of the things we learned from reading the Psalms and the prophets is that we don't have to protect God from our questions and cries. Our prayers don't have to be neat. They don't have to be nice. And we don't have to hold anything back. In this time of prayer, as I mentioned earlier, we'll also be inviting you to tear that cloth or paper as a way to help us all remember what's been lost, what's been ripped and torn this past year, to help us mourn the things in our own lives and our world that can't be easily repaired or replaced. We'll also have a sung response repeated throughout this time that we'd love to have you sing with us. Please stay muted, but sing along at home. It goes like this. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. And we'll sing that 4 times. So let's begin.
Oh God, your dream was of a world that was safe and life-giving. So we cry out to you where this has not been our reality, especially in the midst of the pandemic. We cry out for all the lives lost this year, those known to us and those unknown, from the people down the street to those across the world. We cry out for the loss of
For all of those who have died from COVID, for those who have died due to racial injustice, for those who have died in hurricanes and forest fires, for our family, friends, and loved ones who have died, and all those we are missing this holiday season. Ooh, this is harder than I thought it would be. I have to read all of the church members' names who have died this past year, so here we go. And for all of our friends, our brothers and sisters in Christ, the CPC church members who have died this past year. For Sandra Mata, Vivian Thornhill, Bill Forsey, Isa Sutter, Carol Batdorf, Wilma Pobilniak, Miriam Waters, Virginia Baker, Kurt Olson, and Alan Robertson. So I'm a crier, and this is a lament time, so if you need to cry, cry along with me. So we grieve as well the loss of even being able to grieve in the ways that we have before. We cry out because it's so easy to lose hope. In the next few moments of silence, we invite you to write down or type out your laments for the lives lost this year, or for anything that you've lost this year. You can write your laments on one of your pieces of cloth or paper, or type them in the comment section or chat. So we'll have that time of prayer now. so after each time that we lament and pray, we'll sing that response together. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you.
Hear these words from Psalm 13. How long, O Lord, will you utterly forget me? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I harbor sorrow in my soul, grief in my heart, day after day? I invite you now to join me in tearing your piece of cloth, the one in which you have just written your laments.
God, you dream of a world where we can all be together in body and spirit, to share meals and laughter and embraces. So we cry out to you because that has not been our reality this year. We weep for the loss of relationships, for the loss of routine and normality and the ability to be physically together. We weep even for the loss of trust that the world is a safe, good place. We are in turmoil and peace seems like just a memory. In the next few moments of silence, we invite you to write down your laments for the loss of all those things we used to depend on and expect. You can write your laments on your pieces of cloth or paper, or type them in the chat or comment section. Let's have a moment of prayer. And we join together again in the response. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you.
Hear these words from Jeremiah the 8th. No healing, only grief. My heart is broken. Listen to the weeping of my people. people all across the land. And I invite you now to join me in tearing your piece of cloth, the one on which you have just written your laments.
All you prisoners in your cells, all you in private hells, Kyrie eleison. All you hungry and ignored, who thirst for something more, Kyrie eleison. You feel so lost, but are afraid of being found. You who are in chains, but are afraid to live unbound. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. For all us lovely, needy people living in this world that's spinning round and round and round, round and round and round. For all us lovely, broken people living in this world that's spinning round and round and round. Round and round and round, Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy. Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. You children ripped and torn, battered, bruised, and worn, Kyrie eleison. All who look hate in the face, locked in hate's embrace, Kyrie eleison. You've given up and can't see anywhere but down. You've lost all hope and think it's nowhere to be found. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. For all us lonely, needy people living in this
Oh God, you dream of a world where there's mercy and kindness and justice and joy and enough to go around. And so we must weep tonight for all the lives lost and hurt because of the racism, injustice, and the fear of strangers and difference in this country. The list of the names is so long and somehow still keeps getting longer. In the next few moments of silence, we invite you to write down or type out your laments for the victims of the fear and hatred, greed and exclusion that continue to devastate our country and our world. So we'll have a moment of prayer now. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you.
Hear these words from Jeremiah 31. A voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are no more. I invite you now to join me in tearing your piece of cloth, the one on which you have just written your laments.
Oh God, you dream of a world where wrongs are acknowledged and righted, and restoration is possible. So tonight we must cry out to you and confess that we have too often ignored the wrongs in our country, our neighborhoods, our own hearts. But our eyes have been opened wider this year, and what we see hurts. It hurts, and it's hard to confront what's broken within us and around us, and to find the courage to make amends and make things right. Hear our prayers and forgive us. In this last, final time of silent prayer, we invite you to write down or type out your confessions and prayers for forgiveness and change. And we'll join together in prayer now. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you.
Hear these words from Psalm 102. God, listen. Listen to my prayer. Listen to the pain in my cries. Don't turn your back on me just when I need you so desperately. Pay attention. This is a cry for help. I invite you now to join me in tearing your piece of cloth, the one on which you have just written your prayers.
There's so much sorrow here, so much shame and hurt and fear. And this grief feels like the ache is never ending. The night is long, can't find sleep. Where's peace gone? It's so hard to breathe. It's time to dream fierce dreams, like Mary did. Brave dreams, like Joseph did. New dreams, like Jesus did. 'Cause those who dream change everything. Those who dream change everything. Don't have the words to pray. No comfort, no joy today. Where is love? We long to see a new beginning. The night is long, can't find sleep. Where's peace gone? It's so hard to breathe. It's time to dream fierce dreams, like Mary did. Brave dreams, like Joseph did. New dreams, like Jesus did. 'Cause those who dream change everything. Those who dream change everything. Seeds grow in the dark. Hope's born in the dark. Dreams start in the dark. So don't give up. Don't give up.
So I'm making my video a little bigger since I'm the one that's going to close out our service. And I'm going to go back here by all these beautiful candles. So we have gathered our ripped and torn hopes, our ragged laments. And look, together our laments have become something else. So the idea was for the cloth to be torn and to be put together into a rag wreath, a rag advent wreath. Well, since I didn't tear cloth, I put mine in a circle around the cross here and around my candle. So you are able to put yours wherever you want, make them into something beautiful, into something new, tie them onto your advent wreath at home. So this circle reminds us of God's unending love, a love that can't be canceled, a love that never fails,